Good afternoon, and today is September 15th, the middle of September, and we're going to go over the midday pulse for the markets here. So it looks like let's just dive in. So we're going to cover regular stocks I've been covering for the last forever, and maybe a little bit extra. But basically, this is all going to be on the 15-minute time zone, and some very interesting things are occurring here. So we are getting a up on our left-hand corner. We have the XPX on the 15-minute chart, 15-minute time frame. But basically, we are getting some sort of relief here. So from yesterday at midday, when I mentioned, again, I used a 50-day moving average, just basically letting me know for the short term, for this pullback that it's occurring, or we should be bearish or bullish within the last week or 2 weeks. So that's the time frame I'm kind of, or last 5 days. But basically, we are turning or trying to turn a tide. A base is trying to be formed. I'm showing a nice little base here. So basically, let's see if we can get this thing going. The MACD just turned zero. If we can get the MACD above zero, we can get a nice support bounce around the 50. I think that we could maybe put in a short-term bottom here. So let's see if that comes to fruition. It looks pretty good, but we definitely need above this 44.65. Above 44.50 is great. But let's see if we can get it going. The NASDAQ is the weakest out of all of them at this moment. Again, just trying to form a base, trying to go positive. Let's see if it can get it going. It's trying to form this little base. I do like this, what's occurring here. Let's see if we can get above the 50 and the MACD's above zero for us to start for the bull starting to get some ground. Russell, again, Russell was toying with the 200-day moving average on the daily chart. So it was very imperative that it bounced here, which I thought it would. So around 2200, it did have a nice little bounce to 2205 or 2225. Again, same type of thing. Let's see if it can get it going above the zero and it can break above 50. Don't know. I want the institutions to come back into the game, but so far they've been unloading. So let's see what happens here. All right. So now that we have the market stance on the indices, let's see what the other stocks are doing here. Alphabet, as I mentioned yesterday, basically at 12 o'clock, we had a nice little rally. It is going sideways, or Google. Basically, we did have this sell-off at the end of the day, which coincides with the rest of the market. But basically, we're trying to get above 50 here. So the MACDs are showing me weakness. Let's see if we can get this turnaround above zero. But Google is one of the strongest ones. It's still holding pretty strong around 28.44. Just kind of lingering right in this area, but it did have a nice rebound up at this 28.25. Amazon sold off pretty hard yesterday. Again, was pretty strong holding, but it was below 50. A nice trade yesterday. I think we were talking about it here around 12 o'clock. Around 50, this could have been a trade either way. Going to the downside this morning, you could add a nice little trade to the downside. We saw weakness occurring, and the MACD showed you weakness right off the morning, right off the bat. Could it rally? There is a lot of supply right in here, so, but let's see if it can turn around. If it can flip around 34.21 or 34.25 to be exact, then more likely it could take another test to about 34.44, which is a 50-day moving average. It's trying to. Let's see if the NASDAQ can help it out, and the XPX as well. Tesla, again, yesterday we talked about Tesla. It looked one of the strongest ones. I said yesterday, if it holds at 736, it's probably going to look good. So far, it's looking really, really good. But we are going to need the indices to turn around to help Tesla out. If the indices do turn around, I think Tesla will actually go back up. ISRG, we did have a little bit of a breakout yesterday. Tried to go yesterday, but failed, as well as when all of the indices broke down. This broke down, but didn't break down too much. Just kind of lingered. I do like this setup here. It is above zero. And let's see if we can get a nice bounce here and a bounce here, and I think this thing can go back up to 1050. 1050 is the area we're going to be looking at, where it either can go or sell off. But basically, um, risk reward ratio 1034 to 1050. That's about a 15, 16 point move. So you have something there to look forward to. But it can go either way. We're at the 50. So remember, the 50 overalls always lead to the 50. But I do like this setup here. If we can get a bounce off the MACDs and get momentum back on our side, I think this can drive it back up. Chipotle, I do like for some reason. It's trying to form this little base here. Again, if it can break this 1868, or better yet, let's zoom in here. It's sold off again around this 1868, 1870, but it didn't sell off too much. I think it's going to make another crack at it. But if it can break through, and the MACDs are showing momentum's on its side, I think that the base is probably in, and they could probably retest this 1892. And we're going to be looking at that for any. There is another level here at 1883. We have to look for it's right in there, but 1892 can really get it going. So we're going to be looking at those. As far as Apple again. I hate to say this, but the news on Apple, I guess it was already priced in, but Apple is below the 50. Now we're looking at the 1 day on Apple, but Apple needs to get above 148. Currently it's at 147. It looks like it's breaking down. The MACDs don't look too good. So kind of noticing Apple to probably come down to the zero line. It's still pretty bullish, but if it gets above zero, maybe hold this area, then we can see a nice maybe Apple linger right in here. But 151 is what really gonna get Apple going. I thought we had this breakout here above 151, but we broke below it. So if Apple lingers in this area, and now I'm looking at the 1 hour to the right and the 15 minutes to the right. So as you can tell, the 1 hour below the 50, we need a break above this 50-day, which is around 149 for it to show momentum on our side. The MACDs are trying to linger, trying to form a base. 15 minutes, same type of thing here. What else are we looking at? Since I have Apple, let's look at the fangs, right? So look at the fangs. I'm going to look here real quick, kind of cover these things real quick. So let's look at Facebook. This is all the daily charts. Daily Facebook just finally pulled back. MACDs are showing some weakness, so it's all correlated. Maybe it's going to come down to about 362. That will be healthy, and if the MACDs can come down and then start rolling with the index, with the NASDAQ and the XFES coming back up, this could maybe show me a nice little trade back to the upside. But if we do break down and this starts going below zero, then that means that more likely we have another level here of 362. And then we probably have this level of 347, and then right in here at 333. So just keep that in mind. Apple, we covered Apple already, but Amazon. So Amazon, again, this is the 1 day daily chart. So we did kind of like close these gaps here. It's having a hard time above 353. That's what we're going to be looking at to get it going. It is trying to struggle. It is below the 50-day moving average at 34.58. Let's see how far can it go. Can the MACD show me some nice momentum swing? Can it get a nice zero bounce and start going higher? Or is it going to continue lingering down here to about this 33.92? So we're at 34.20 right now. This 33.92 area is what we're going to be looking for. If it doesn't hold here, you're probably going to be looking at actually the 200-day moving average right there, 32.98 as well. Netflix, we had this nice little pullback. I like the way this is setting up. Let's see if it can hold this 575 area, currently 577. The MACDs are pulling back, so show me weakness, so probably Netflix is probably going to linger. Let's see if the indices can help it out as well. Once the indices pick a direction, then more likely it's going to help out all these stocks that are lagging or struggling. Google, again, from this perspective, it looks a little stronger, right? So even though despite this pullback, Google is just kind of lingering sideways. So let's see this level right here of 2867 to get it going. The MACDs are just coinciding, kind of lagging away. And let's see if it just holds, waiting for the MACDs to come in, waiting for the buyers to come back in. But maybe Google is the one that's going to turn around the markets. Um, Again, it's just a waiting game, and it's a wait and see. Since I have you guys on here, I just kind of want to show you the indexes from a different perspective here. And XPX. So XPX, I'm noticing again, just logging down. It needs to hold this 50-day moving average. Remember, we've been using the 50 for a long period of time as support, right? So support. If it breaks down here, we probably have this 3364. That's another area we're going to be looking at. We have a couple of areas that we'll be looking at here for support. Um, Again, the NASDAQ again is pulling back. It could pull back even a little bit more. That's what I'm saying. Like Google, Apple, and all these things can probably go a little lower. Um, just based, I'm just noticing there's a lot of supply that's being sold off right now. Again, it kind of coincides. The techs have been rallying up. People are just probably, taking some profits off the table, limiting their exposure. I mean, why not? We do the same thing too. Russell. Russell, this is what I was talking about. We're right at that 200-day moving average. Russell has been going sideways, but basically, we just need the MACDs to turn here and Russell to bounce off the 200-day moving average, and then it'll look a little bit better. I'm going to throw in the VIX here. VIX is toying right below the 200-day moving average. So again, uh, you know, uh, coincides with VIX probably pulling back, but you want to keep track of that VIX right at that 200-day, because if we go above it, then that means that more fear is coming into the marketplace. All right, let me cover Bitcoin. Bitcoin is to the left here. We're looking at the dailies. Bitcoin did bounce nicely off the 50-day, and again, it's 48. Like I said, it's probably going to go up to these highs of 53,000. Um, I look at MicroStrategies because they have a lot of Bitcoin, so it does coincide with Bitcoin. Yesterday we said let's look at MicroStrategy here at this 50-day. Actually, did sell off with the market. However, it did hold this 612, and it did rally. Not because Bitcoin trades 24 hours, MicroStrategy doesn't. This morning when Bitcoin was up, MicroStrategy was up as well with it. So again, the MACDs did cross this morning, and basically you had a nice trade here, especially bounce off the 50 at 629 all the way up to about 643. Ethereum did hold that 50-day, and again, it's probably going to go back up to about 40, let's say 4,000. So keep track of that. Let's throw in GME and GameStop. So GameStop um, looks a little stronger. Again, not selling off, not really doing anything detrimental, but which isn't good or bad, but hasn't sold off. So the rest of the market, so it's looking pretty strong. It's holding at 200. I think right in here, the 211, 215 area. I got an anchor VWAP on this white one, and the 215 is a volume profile. So basically, we are trading below it, but this is where the most activity, the most volume for this particular underline is. So right now, we're trading below it, but if we can get above it, I think this thing could really take off. The underline is telling me the same thing. It's just holding that $200 area really strong. AMC, again, I do have the same thing here. This is the anchor VWAP and the volume profile. So right in this $48 and $57. So we are trading below the anchor VWAP right there, $48. Again, this is the most volume traded within this period of time. So if we can get above it, I think that it can probably run. But right now, let's see if the internals is telling me it can go higher. All right, guys, that's all we got, and go get it. All right, we'll talk soon, and good luck.